All right, so and now I'm going to mute everyone. Uh,
Can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
okay, how's that? Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay.
I can hear you.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone else. Well, let's see. Yeah. Okay, I think we're good. All right, supine bound angle post. Make it a nice, comfortable one. So I'm going to set up in this orientation. If you have a bolster, go ahead and use it. If you don't have a bolster, you can do this just lying down flat without a bolster. It is nice if you have some support to go under your thighs at the beginning. And if you have a belt, this can make it a more passive and relaxing version of the pose. So you sit down in front of your bolster or blanket or whatever height you might have. Put the belt over around your waist, low, just really above the buttocks. And bring your soles of your feet together with the belt underneath. Pull in the strap like so. And then you use some kind of height, if you have it, for support. Again, you can do this entirely just lying on the floor without any props. But if you have the props, it makes for a nicer, more supported version. So here it is. So the upper arms are externally rotated. The chest opens out, using the bolster to help you organize that lifted and open chest. And then you just settle in and relax and breathe quietly in out the nose as much as possible. All right, so now we're gonna stay in this basic pose, but bring the bolster around in front. So you probably have to come up. You have a support under your thighs, move that out of the way. And then it's a little tricky to do it, but you wanna bring the bolster or whatever height you're using around in front. And then you gotta kind of get that bolster back in place. And so go back into Supta Baddha Konasana. This time, however, lying flat on the floor with your legs up on the height and no support. So it's a little more of an opening in the groin. And then again, just release down into the pose. Shoulders, the chest opens out to the sides. Shoulders go down into the floor, upper arms turned out. Hands resting either on the floor, palms up, or on your torso, palms down. Supta Baddha Konasana. I find that one of the real challenges to doing a restorative class is to allow yourself to do nothing. Our minds, especially to some extent, our bodies just want to keep being busy, whether it's twitching your fingers or scratching your neck or thinking or voicing comments silently in your head, a million things we do that is just constant sort of meaningless physical and mental chatter. And, it's just the way it is. And what we want to do in a restorative class is try to let that go. It'll be there, but try not to resist doing nothing. Now, stay here, but see if you can release yourself from the belt if you have one. And then let your legs kind of drape over the bolster and just rest in this Shavasana-like position for a few breaths. Okay, then stir a bit, roll to your side, push to a seated posture. And if you have it, come up onto a height. And then we'll do a little Nadi Shodhana pranayama. So find a comfortable cross-legged posture. Again, if possible, sitting on some bit of height. I'm sitting on a bolster. It could be anything, a blanket. And people who are really open in the groins and thighs, can sit perfectly well on the floor. But you want to see that the plane of your knees is at or below the plane of your pelvic rim. So for me, I kind of need to be on a pretty good height to get that comfortably and just passively. So here you can see this is like the plane of my pelvis, and it's 2 or 3 inches above the knees. So that's what I want. So then you can just kind of let the groins release. So when you're doing pranayama, you don't want to be tensed up in the groins and the inner thighs. You want the lower abdomen, the groins, and the thighs to be at ease, kind of alert, but at ease. So then sitting alert and upright on your sit bones, torso lifts, chest open. So then as we've learned, the finger position here for alternate nostril breathing is the index finger and the middle finger are touching together, and they go either at the third eye or more properly really on the bridge of the nose. And then the thumb touches the cartilagey part of the right side, and then the pinky and the ring finger touching together are on that cartilagey area on the left side. So it looks kind of like so. Now, you can do this upright or with your shin in Jalandhara Bandha. So you can pick whichever one you want. I think I'm going to stay upright so that I can speak more clearly. The left hand can either be in Yana Mudra, to the side like this, or just kind of at ease in your uh, lap, so to speak. So this is the basic idea. Keep the spine erect, keep the chest open, keep an alertness in the sit bones, but allow the thighs and the groins to release down. Okay, breathe evenly, quietly in and out both nostrils, just to get a feel for it. We want a quiet breath. We want to move the breath in a way as if it were in a very narrow channel that doesn't even touch the sides of the nostrils or anything else until it touches the back of the throat. As the breath comes in, the first place that you want it to touch is in that space of the Jalandhara Bandha. And the same thing on the exhale. The last thing you want the breath to touch as it exhales is that space, so that there's no, the sound of the breath is all in the base of the back of the throat. It's not up in the nose or the sinuses. So we're going to keep the nose, the sinuses, the face completely at ease and use just the expansion of the chest and the lifting and descending of the diaphragm for the movement of the breath. Okay, so now take a good full inhale through both nostrils. And a good full exhale through both nostrils. Now close the right side and inhale through only the left side. Close and hold the breath. Open the right side and exhale. Close both and hold. Open the right, inhale. Close and hold. Open the left, exhale. Close and hold. Open the left, inhale. Close and hold. Open the right, exhale. Close and hold. Open the right, inhale. Close and hold. Open the left, exhale. Close and hold. Open the left, inhale. Continue on your own for a couple more cycles. Now, after your hold, after exhale on the left side, return to normal breathing. All right. So now, this may require a little bit of prop building, but Supta Virasana, supine hero pose. So there are a variety of ways of doing it. I'm going to demonstrate first with the chair. You all can do your own methods as you may wish, but I'll demonstrate with the chair, and then I'll demonstrate other ways as well. But you all can begin to set up as you like your pose. But especially for people who are a little tight in the quadriceps, a chair could be very handy. And if available, a little prop set up like this is really quite nice. You may not have all these props, so I'm going to show alternatives to this, but I'm going to show the full prop version for people who are tight in the quads first. So the basic pose is knees together, feet apart, and you sit either on the floor or on a block. So, like so, and the tops of the feet nicely on the floor, and then we're going to lie back onto whatever structure works for you. So here with this, it's like so. So this is, for me, this is quite comfortable. You know, I could stay here for a long time. I feel just a little bit of stretch, extension through the quads. But I can basically just kind of settle down into this. This is perfectly comfortable here with my shoulders supported, my head supporting. So this is, exquisitely comfortable. And we want comfort here. We're not looking to work hard for the most part in this class. We're really looking for that allowance of doing nothing, but doing nothing in a structure. And that's what we want. So we want to find a good structure that we can just release into. So this is the basic thing right here. Your hands can either be on the floor, palms up. You can have your hands on your lap. So this is quite nice. So this is one version. While you all, settle into your versions, I'm going to set up a different version so that people can see, who may watch the video later, what the options are. So for people who are capable, you can sit right down on the floor and then lie back. So this is fine. This is considerably more extension through my quads, but perfectly fine. And I could do this as well. You can also, if you wish, use a belt. There are various ways of using the belt, but to do it this just quickly as a passive kind of a way of passively remaining in the pose comfortably. A belt can go around the thighs. Sometimes we put it around the closer to the knees or both. And there's a variety of ways of doing this. I'm going to go with this version. And you just release down into the pose. So this is quite nice. And then, of course, finally, for people who are really open in this pose, you can go right to the floor without the bolster. But for a restorative class, even if you're capable of doing that, with comfort, you want to have a little support anyway. So so I can do that, but I wouldn't really be in a restorative pose if I was going all the way to the floor. So this works quite well for me. It's a bit of a challenge, but not so much of a challenge that I can't just release. All right, so let's go ahead and ease our way up from there. Well, let's stay in our Virasana, our hero pose, and just sit upright for a moment in just an upright Virasana. We'll just do a little bit of a twist here. So we're going to take the left hand over onto the right thigh area, take the right hand behind, lift the torso, inhale, exhale, twist to the right. And then return to center, take a couple breaths. And the second side, the right hand on the left knee or thigh, left hand goes behind, torso lifts, chest open, inhale, exhale, twist left. And then back to center. Okay. So we'll go into a bit more of a challenging pose for many. We'll do, what is it? Supta Baddha, Ardha Baddha Padmasana. So supine half-bound lotus pose. So for those who can do lotus, and again, you can lie back on a bolster or something if you wish. I personally find it easier to just rest on the floor in this pose. For people who may need to do so, you may want to have a bolster or something to put under your thighs. So the basic structure, for those of you who know how to do and what you want to do, you can go right ahead and do it. But it's good to go ahead and start with extending your legs out in Dandasana. After being in Virasana for that period of time, the knees can be a little, a little resistant to moving forward. So just kind of stretch your legs out. And then if you can do lotus, you go ahead and take your legs into lotus. Now, it's nice if you can do full lotus to then put a belt around. I'm a little tight in my pose tonight. But the basic idea would be like so. This helps you stay in a somewhat passive version of the pose. And then you just lie down. So not everyone can do this. For some people, their knees will be way up high. And if so, you can use a bolster. So if your knees lift up, then you can just put a bolster underneath, like so. Some people need more than one bolster. This can be a challenging pose. And then if you cannot do full lotus, do half. It becomes a little harder to do it passively, but you can. You would start in Dandasana, bring the right foot up on top of the left thigh, bring the left foot underneath, like so. You can use the belt the same way here to hold the legs together, and then you can lie down in half-bound lotus. So that's entirely viable. If you can't do any of that, then you can just cross your legs in Sukhasana, a comfortable, peaceful, easy cross-legged posture, and do like so. So any of these are viable. You can also lie back on a chair or a bolster as you might wish as well. So for those of you who've been in the pose for a little while now, go ahead and switch sides. So if you're in one form or another of Padmasana, now you switch. So you would, for me now, I would take my left foot up onto the right thigh and bring the right foot on top of the left thigh. Again, belt can be used. And then again, supine. Actually, I'm not sure why I was calling this Ardha Padmasana. This is full Padmasana. So it's Supta Baddha Padmasana. When we do the standing version, it's kind of like this. And there's also a seated version where you can do half bound lotus seated forward bend, Ardha Baddha Padma Paschimottanasana. But that's obviously a different pose. This is Supta Baddha Padmasana, supine bound lotus pose. Okay, and now we'll ease our way up from there. And Bharadvajasana. So it's similar to hero pose. You can sit on a block if you wish, or you can sit on the floor. Legs extended. And then, I'm sorry, confusing myself as to which pose we're doing. We're going to have the right foot outside the left hip, and then the left foot drapes over that right foot. The knees are together or close together. And then we sit upright on your sit bones. If you have a second block, it can be helpful to put it behind you, but it's not necessary. Left hand on right side. Right hand comes around either on the block or floor. Use both as leverage to help you lift, open the chest, inhale, and then with the exhale, twist to the right. And then back to center. A couple breaths. Send the legs forward in Dandasana. Bring the left foot back outside the right hip. Bring the right foot back, draped over that left foot. And get the sit bones nicely kind of squared up on your block. or whatever prop you might be using, or the floor, whatever it is, but have your sit bones alert, even, steady on the block or floor. Right hand to left knee or thigh. Left hand goes back behind. Use the arms, hands as leverage. Inhale, lift, open the chest. Exhale, twist left. And back to center. Back to Dandasana. Let's do that one more time to each side. This time we're going to bring that right foot back outside the left hip. The left foot comes back and drapes over it. You may remember from one of the previous classes that if you want to do the full pose, you put your hand like so. It's a little harder to do if you're up on a prop on a height like this, but it still kind of works. And then again, you inhale, lift, open the chest, exhale, twist right. I'm going to stick with this because it's a restorative class and I want to just be a little bit more at ease. And release. Send the legs forward in Dandasana again. Bring the left foot back. Bring the right foot back on top of it. Get the sit bones kind of squared up and comfortable, evenly on the floor or prop. Torso lifts, chest open. Right hand to left thigh. Left hand goes behind. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. And then back to face forward. Send the legs forward. In Dandasana. If you're using a prop, you can take that away. And we'll do Adho Mukha Virasana, downward facing hero pose. So you're gonna want, if possible, to have a bolster or something, and something comfortable under your knees, either a blanket or a carpet. So big toes touch, knees are apart. Sit back on your heels. Draw your bolster in close because we're going to want to rest the lower abdomen on the bolster. And then we drape over the bolster and just release down. If you need more height, put more height. If you need less height, that's fine. But you want to have something so that your lower abdomen is supported. And then we just rest down into the pose. Adho Mukha Virasana. I have to fix a little technical glitch as you're resting there. if you're turning your head to the side, periodically turn it to the other side. All right, we'll come up from there. And we'll go right into downward facing dog. So wherever if you're able to go right up into it, do so. I have to move a few props out of the way and be able to do. So whatever you need to do, make a little bit of space and take downward dog. I'm going to push one else. Let's see if we can hold this for a little bit. This is really the most challenging, I guess physically demanding point in the class. That bound lotus may have been more difficult, but this is, I suppose, it demands a lot of us all. So give it a try there to stay a bit longer than we normally do in the pose. You start to feel a kind of weakness or stress in one place, but strength and comfort in another. Kind of focus on that comfortable, strong place and see if you can infuse the weaker spot, the weaker area, with that comfort and strength. It helps to extend the heels down, press the palms down, and use that downward movement to get a buoyant lift through the rest of the pose. Okay, walk your hands and feet toward each other until you're in a standing forward bend. And then inhale and come up. Okay, now, I don't know if everybody has a chair, and I know that not everybody has wall space. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do Marichiasana. So using a wall, it's like so. Now, if you don't have a wall, you just don't have a wall. So you just do it away from the wall, but the same idea. And the pose is this. You'll stand like so. Now, if you don't have a wall, you're going to take your left hand to your right knee, kind of the way we did in Bharadvajasana, and twist like so. You can bring this hand around even if you wish. Might even be able to catch it, I don't know, something like so. So this is fine if you don't have a wall. If you have a wall, you do the exact same thing. Only here, step up and I move my hip to the wall. And then I can twist like so with my palms against the wall. It's just a version that's very well supported. So whichever version you've got available to you, go ahead and do. You start with Tadasana facing your chair. You'll bring your right foot up on the chair, and then either your hip against the wall or your hip against a pretend wall. You're not using a wall, your left hand on right knee, and you twist. Or you use a wall. I love the wall version of this pose. I find it very soothing, comforting, and yeah, energetic. And then release. And we go to the second side. Same thing, with or without the wall, as whatever you have available. Left foot is up on the chair. Turn to the left. And attempt to square up your chest with the wall. Pretend wall or otherwise. And then release. Let's go one more time to each side on that. Mostly because I like it. Tadasana, right foot up, right hip against the wall, pretend your other lines, palms, and then on the wall if you have one, and then you inhale, lift, exhale, twist to the right. And release. One more time, second. Again, twist to the left. And release. And then we'll do a standing forward bend using your chair as support, either the back of the chair or the seat, as you may wish, with some height, even if you're very comfortable in forward bends. Feet a little bit apart for this one. Torso lifts, chest open, inhale, exhale, forward bend.
Again, use whatever height on the chair you wish. Using the seat back is fine. And this is a restorative class, so there's no need to put yourself in deficit here, in stress. The idea is to do a good quality pose structurally, but fully supported. And then gently ease your way up from there. And we'll get the chair out of the way. So I want to do some Ujjayi pranayama and then go right into Shavasana. So set up what you want for your Shavasana. And then once that's set up, then we'll come into a seated posture. So find your stuff, set yourself up for Shavasana. You'll want something under your head for comfort. Simple enough, but some people may want more involved structure. And then we come back to a comfortable cross-legged seated posture for our Ujjayi pranayama. So just to give a brief outline on this, we've gone over this in other classes in more depth, so I'm not going to do that now, although we will do a future class focused on pranayama. But for now, the bandhas. Mula bandha is an engagement of the central perineal tendon and a lifting of the pelvic floor. Uddiyana bandha is a drawing of the navel back toward the spine and up into the chest. So together they create a kind of lifting from the pelvic floor up. Now you can also do that vacuum creation, which I'm not going to go over in detail here, but if when you're holding your breath, I'll just demonstrate for a moment. You exhale fully, and then you create a vacuum. You can see how that, if you're holding your breath and you expand your chest a bit, that will create a vacuum that sucks the abdomen back toward the spine. So if you can do that, that's great. If not, you just do a muscular contraction of the navel toward the spine. And then the third bandha is Jalandhara bandha, that one at the base of the back of the throat, where we lift the chest up and take the chin down. So it's like a chin. And that is the space where we hold the breath. We don't use the face and the sinuses, the nose to hold the breath. You hold the breath. You learn to hold it by contracting there. And again, the breath moves in a narrow channel, touching that spot of the Jalandhara bandha in and out. So I'll give the cues for the holding of the breath. If any of it doesn't work for you, then just breathe normally and quietly. Or just skip the holds and just follow the inhales and exhales. That's perfectly fine. All right. Sit upright, alert on the sit bones. Take either Jnana Mudra with your hands like so, which this is how it looks. Or you can just have your hands in Vipassana, meditation kind of mode in your lap. Lift the chest, take the chin down toward the sternum, close the eyes, breathe evenly, comfortably in and out both nostrils. Now inhale through both nostrils, lift, open, fill the chest, expand the chest. And then exhale fully exhale. And then we begin. Inhale, lift, open the chest. Hold the breath, engage Mula Bandha, the central perineal tendon, the lift in the pelvic floor. Keep that lift as you exhale. Hold the breath and engage Uddiyana. Draw the navel back toward the spine. Release those bandhas and inhale. Hold the breath, engage Mula Bandha. Keep Mula Bandha as you exhale. Hold, engage Uddiyana. Release the bandhas, inhale. Hold, engage Mula Bandha. Keep Mula Bandha as you exhale. Hold, add Uddiyana Bandha. Release the bandhas, inhale, and continue on your own, at your own pace. Now, after your next hold after exhale, return to normal breathing. Keeping your eyes closed, with an inhale, lift your chin. And then with an exhale, you can open your eyes. And then take your Shavasana. Take that calm but energetic state from the pranayama into your Shavasana. So that while physically you're completely at ease, there's still a gentle, tranquil current of energy running through your being, your body and your being. Go with that. A complete release of your body, yet still feeling that gentle, energetic state. For the next few minutes, do nothing. All right, so feel free to stay in Shavasana if you wish, but otherwise begin to stir, bring awareness back into fingers and toes. Let your eyes open. Bring your hands to your abdomen or somewhere comfortable on your torso. Bend your knees, feet on the floor, and gently roll over onto your side, preferably right side. Take a few breaths here. When you come up, keep the throat, neck at ease, and bring the crown of the head up last. So you use some arm strength and push to a seated posture. All right. Thank you all for coming. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Right. Good night.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Good night.